Good morning, everybody. This is our podcast from the top, Desde la Cima, and we invite you all to give us a like, share the love, because this is about women. This is about all the powerful and the transformation that we are creating around the world. Today, we have a beautiful and special guest, Jamie Landers. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's such a pleasure, and I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Thank you. Jamie, this is important. We need to talk about us and who are we. Tell us about who are you? Why are you here? Why is all this important? But especially, who are you? What are you doing?
Absolutely. I am a director of advanced programs at Lockheed Martin Space here in Littleton, Colorado. And what that really means is my team looks at advancement in technology, rapid innovation, and ways that we can advance our society as a whole by using space for global sustainability and space exploration. It's a really fun job. I love understanding how space can affect our daily lives here, everything from GPS and navigation to climate change and monitoring and connecting us around the world. And I'm here talking to you today because I am lucky to be a co-chair of International Women's Day presented by Lockheed Martin.
That is so exciting. Okay, so one of the things that it is more interesting to me is how is it possible that if women are part of the team that plays with the space, with NASA and all of that? Tell us how you got there.
Absolutely. I was a precocious little girl who at 5 years old told my parents that I wanted to work in outer space. Anything that to do with NASA or space camp or out of space, I just couldn't get enough of. I also, at the age of 7, took apart the family VCR. And for those of you that are a little bit younger, that was where, that was the YouTube of my generation, but it was a machine that I took apart at 7 in my household. So I had an inclination for engineering and machinery and how things work at a very young age. I was so lucky that both my mom and my father were supportive of women pursuing technology careers and STEM careers. And they put me in every science camp they could find. And I went to NASA Space Academy 3 different times. That's their space camp programming. And I went off to college and became an aerospace engineer. It was a really interesting time because it was the late 90s, early 2000s. And out of a class of about 80, there was only 6 women. So we were still really trailblazing, women in engineering and women in aerospace specifically. There was a lot of women that have come before me. Some of my idols, Mae Jemison, Sally Ride, some of the wonderful women that work in aerospace and technology. And I really looked to them kind of as a guiding path to where I wanted to go. And I knew space exploration and working in outer space was something that I had wanted to do since such a young age. I'm just so lucky to do it today.
Wow. So while you were talking, my whole body was reacting like, oh my gosh, what is that? How is that possible? So thank you for sharing that. So aerospace engineer, how was it when you got the title, when you got your diploma and you were like, I made it here? Tell us about the feeling. Tell us about getting to the top.
It was 20 years ago that I got my diploma and I still can't believe it. I still pinch myself, right? And, for me, it was a lot of hard work, but it took a community. And those 6 or 7 women in aerospace engineering classes, we really stuck together. We created study groups, we quizzed each other, we worked in organizations outside of our major, entrepreneurship opportunities. I worked in the dean's office, and at the time, the dean of engineering at Penn State, where I went to school, was a woman. And so it was really that strength and fabric of community that brought me along. And I was so proud the day that I got my degree, and to be able to jump right into working on satellites the very first day after I graduated was an incredible experience for me.
Wow, thank you. Because I think there are many ladies who are listening to you and they may have the idea, the intention, the goal, the dream, but it looks so far away for them that being able to listen to a person like you that 20 years ago was able to get your diploma and say like, we made it, and we made it as a community. We stuck together, we worked together. We knew that it was going to be hard, but man, we make it happen, made it happen. Beautiful. Thank you for that empowerment and encouraging many ladies that are listening to you. Um, was there a moment that you were like, this is too much? Thank you. I'm giving up. I'm just exhausted. And what did you do to get out of that mental time and place?
It took a lot of mental resiliency. And when people say that, it isn't just about, I'm going to bear through this, but it's about being vulnerable with where you are today. So for me, that looked like the days when I just felt like too much, reaching out to the other women, reaching out to my mentors, or sitting down and reminding myself that I had gotten to where I was today because of the hard work and the effort. Of course, there were struggles and failures. I remember very vividly walking home from one engineering final and just crying a little bit because it was so hard and I wasn't sure that I passed. But I had to go back to all the preparation that got me there and remind myself that I was a strong individual and a strong woman, and that many people had struggled before me and gotten through it as well. And so that mental resiliency and that mental toughness is really still what I rely on today. There's hard days in everybody's life, and you just have to remember that you just take it one step at a time, one problem at a time, and then share your struggle with others, because it's not just going to inspire them, but it inspires you to be strong.
Which is hard because for many people, that's the meaning of that is being vulnerable. Why should you share your struggle? You share your victories, you share all the goals that you have that have been able to get to, but being able to share your struggles, I think it is even braver than all the other pieces. So I want to read some of the things that you mentioned because I think are very important for all the people who are listening this podcast. Mental resilience in terms of sharing your struggle. You are not alone. The self-talk that you are describing, I'm strong, I got this, I can do this. The preparation, the mentors, and just relying and leaning into others. I think those are keys to get to where you are now.
Yeah, I really look back on the 20 years since I graduated, and I am just reminded that at every turn of the way, I was never alone. Whether it was my family supporting me, my coworkers, my volunteer community, my spiritual community, everybody was there to lift each other up. And I will say, I think it's one thing women really excel at. From a very young age, we believe in collective empathy, the good of all. And that strength is so important when you are one of, only a handful of women, either in an industry or facing a challenge, is falling back on that collective empathy and really leaning into the strength of the women in your community and society, and knowing that you persevering is helping the greater good.
I love it. And I think when we create that kind of energy, we are able to move just not the group, but many other women before and after us to create a path for others. I think it is really strong, really beautiful. Thank you so much for this collective empathy and the good of all. And you are right, that's specific for women. We know how to do that. We learn and we know how to do that and to get together. Do you think, you talk in terms of gender? Was it hard in terms of where the teachers treating you differently at that point when you were studying and when you were just this little group among all these guys, strong and smart according to culture?
I was very fortunate at Penn State. We had a very inclusive culture even back then. And even though there were only 6 of us, we were never treated differently. We were never held to a different standard or expected to perform in a different manner, which was a really wonderful thing for us. Although it was hard and we couldn't always see ourselves in a classroom, we weren't treated any differently. And I think that's a unique experience. I think Penn State does a great job, in my opinion, of making sure that they create that collective safe space for everybody to learn. But I know that's not true for everybody. And I think, for me, just knowing that I struggled with certain parts of my learning and I could lean on my professors to help me and dedicate extra time if I needed, was a really great opportunity for me to learn humility and to grow.
Nice. Thank you. So because of all of that, I imagine, or maybe I'm guessing, and I want to go way backwards a little bit, why International Women's Day is important to you?
It is so important to celebrate the achievements of women, and that is in all aspects. The achievements of motherhood, the achievements of women in industries that are male dominated, the achievements of women in political society. And that really goes back to this collective empathy that we're really raised with, understanding that societies are stronger when their women counterparts are helping to lift up society. And that's really one thing that I love about the Denver area is the economic strength and the support of our women business owners, the support of women in industry, and the support of women in our community and society and their families.
Wow, nice. And what is now tell us about, sorry, I'm mixing my English and my Spanish. Tell us about the World Denver's International Women's Day celebration. What is that? Many of us, we just have seen the title somewhere, but we are not related to that. So let's expand this and tell us, what is that?
Absolutely. So International Women's Day has been celebrated around the globe for 100 years. It always occurs on March 8th. And we're very excited here at World Denver and in the Denver community that we've been celebrating it since 2013. It really is the premier International Women's Day. It's actually one of the largest Women's Day celebrations in the entire country. This year, we're very excited. We're back in person this year. We have a hybrid event, thank goodness. But International Women's Day will take place March 8th at the Denver Center for Performing Arts, presented by Lockheed Martin. And really what we're looking at this year is celebrating women leading globally in sustainability and acting locally too. So we have a morning panel that is set up with 4 incredible women who are in diverse fields, who are really concerned about sustainability and growing our local community and making an impact globally. And then during the lunch, we have an incredible, internationally recognized humanitarian, Elizabeth Naya-Mayaro, who is going to give our presentation for lunch. She is incredible. She worked for the UN and she's written a book recently about her leaving Africa and celebrating women. And she founded the He for She opportunity. So Elizabeth is going to be a fantastic speaker. We're really excited to have her.
Oh, it sounds really interesting. Okay, so we have the morning panel, and then we have the luncheon. And you also mentioned here that you are going to honor Beyond Our Borders. Who are they? What are they doing?
Yeah, Beyond Our Borders is a funding network housed at Colorado Women's Foundation that invests in international nonprofit organizations to ensure that women and girls are empowered to achieve their full potential and participate fully in society. We're so excited to honor them. We're also honoring Women's Regional Network, which is connected with them. And they are an international collaboration of civil society working together to advance women's rights and peace, specifically in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India.
Wow, that sounds really cool. Sounds then that we have women globally, local, on Earth and out of the space, like active everywhere. There is no point that we are not covering in this event.
Absolutely. And we have an individual honoree. I think it's really important to bring up Marty Awad. She's being recognized for her deep personal and professional commitment to supporting women in international exchange in Denver. She was one of the original members of World Denver that helped found International Women's Day, which just started as a lunch of 12 women at a local restaurant and now has grown into this nationally recognized premier event.
Wow. Okay. And okay, so now we have the individual honoree. Tell us about Marty Awad.
Yes, so she's held leadership positions in various nonprofit, philanthropic, and public agencies. She's the World Denver Treasurer currently, and she's helped maintain the financial strength and stability despite the challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. Without her, we wouldn't be thriving today.
Nice. Well, tell us now about our presenting sponsor. Of course, it is important to know more. What is happening today? Because we had the opportunity through you to know 20 years ago, how was the process? Well, while you went through your career, but what is going on today for women for our presenting sponsor?
Yeah, so we're very honored. Lockheed Martin is incredibly honored to be the International Women's Day sponsor for the second year in a row. We're so proud to partner and recognize, World Denver and all the efforts that we do to celebrate women at International Women's Day. A little bit about Lockheed. We are advancing innovation in science and technology for the community locally and globally, through our efforts in space exploration, space protection, and just connecting the world.
Just connecting the world, little things, really, really cool. This sounds really cool. Okay, so why do you think this is important for Denver? Why here? Why now?
Yeah, I think it's always important to pause and recognize the participation by women in our local community. Denver is such a vibrant, thriving community with lots of different international aspects. I think the women here truly care about the globe and look for sustainability opportunities to participate in their society. And as I mentioned previously, Denver itself does a lot to make sure that women can fully participate in society, whether that is through the Women's Business Network, through some of the incentives that we have here, and making sure that women can be fully present in their daily lives in their community.
Wow, interesting. And well, now tell us a little bit about World Denver. I know that you mentioned some details at the beginning, but what is World Denver?
World Denver is a nonprofit that looks at connecting the Denver local community globally. So we really want to build a vibrant and thriving society that is focused on making sure that we are connected globally to things happening around the world and can participate in a way that impacts our local community and impacts sustainability around the world.
Do you have more events, or is this just the only event during the whole year that we should be aware of?
That's a great question. We have lots of events throughout the year. We bring in lots of speakers from around the globe to talk about interesting international topics. We host International Women's Day every year, but about once or twice a month, we bring in speakers and we host different events. So if you're interested, please go to our website and check out worlddenver.org.
Okay, so everybody there, if you are listening to this podcast, go to their website and check it out. Can you repeat the website, please?
It is worlddenver.org.
Worlddenver.org. That's easy to remember. Go check it out, because every month they have speakers coming to move Denver, to help us keep creating a better Denver for all of us. Okay, what is the impact that you think these kind of events is having in the whole country? Are we having an impact, or it's just an event to get together and have some fun?
So I'll tell you about last year's event a little bit. So last year we were completely virtual and we weren't sure how that was going to impact our participation. And we were just thrilled because we had over 1,000 men and women around the world from, I think, 10 to 15 different countries join our virtual event. So we're really being recognized as an opportunity to connect globally. And right here in the local community, over 500 girls and women and local leaders are going to join us at the Denver Performing Arts Center to celebrate. And then, of course, we're going to do that hybrid virtual cast so that people from around the world can tune in and listen to both our panelists and, of course, our presenting speaker, Elizabeth Nyamayaro.
Wow. Okay, so I'm ready. I just want to get there and excited of being part of this event. Okay, so if now that the name of our podcast is From the Top, and we know that there are many tops, we don't get to one and that was it. What is the message that you may have to women who are listening to you right now, from you are at now?
Yeah, my message is to celebrate each other. Every moment that you have to honor another woman in your life is good for them, good for you, and good for society. So whether it's because she had a baby, got married, ran a marathon, got a promotion, had the courage to quit a job that didn't work for her, make sure that you stop and you celebrate those small moments of life, because that builds the fabric of strength between us. And that allows us as a community to rise and impact the world locally and globally.
Nice. Thank you so much. I just have one last question for you, and it is from the you are now. What did you say to the 5-year-old kid who thought, I want to be connected with the space. I want, as you mentioned, I wanted to work out of space. What did you say to her?
I would tell her that she's going to achieve things beyond her wildest dreams, that it wasn't always going to be easy, but she was going to find her community to help her rise to the occasion, and just to enjoy every moment. The first time she sees a rocket launch, the first time that she talks to an astronaut on the International Space Station, the first time that she gets to help protect our troops overseas. Those are all moments that are going to bolster her and make her bolder in her life and her career. So I would just tell her to stop and enjoy every one of those moments.
Yay. Well, thank you, Jamie. This has been an amazing interview. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tatiana, for being present as well. We have Tatiana here with us. She is in the background, but she is here. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie, for being with us and for sharing the love about science and about this wonderful event and that is going to be part of Week of Women's.
Thank you so much for having us. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody either in person or virtually on March 8th at Denver Performing Arts Center for International Women's Day, sponsored by Lockheed Martin.
We will be there. You all have to register today, because how many tickets do we have?
I think there's up to 500 people who can participate. So, and if you can't come in person, please sign up for the virtual link. You can go to worlddenver.org to find out more information on how to register.
So register today, because today we have a lot of tickets, but probably tomorrow people are getting into it now. So don't wait. Well, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Tatiana. It was wonderful having you here today.
Thank you so much.